Welcome to Table for One. King David was a musician as well as a shepherd before he became king of Israel. In fact, his father sent him to go to his brothers who were fighting a battle to bring them food, and he did. And we kind of know the story of David and Goliath, and that's when that happened. And then people, the king at the time found out that David could play music, and actually said that he wanted David to come in to play music to actually soothe him, to soothe his mind and soothe his soul. And David would be playing these awesome melodies to King Saul, and Saul it would help Saul while he was governing and while he was ruling. And then King David obviously became king of Israel. But the psalmist in him was always something that kind of really was at the core of who he was. And he wrote many of the psalms that we have in our Bible today, in the book of Psalms. He wrote a lot of those. In fact, he wrote this psalm of thanksgiving, and we find this in Psalm 100. It says, "Shout with joy to the Lord, all the earth. Worship the Lord with gladness. Come before him singing with joy. Acknowledge that the Lord is good. He made us, and we are his. We are his people, the sheep of his pasture. Enter his gates with thanksgiving and go into his courts with praise. Give thanks to him and praise his name. For the Lord is good. His unfailing love continues forever, and his faithfulness continues to each generation." That is an amazing kind of couple verses in scripture, because it's just encouraging us to worship God through song, to worship God with gladness, to shout for joy to the Lord. It really implores us to worship him with joy and gladness, to acknowledge that he is God and acknowledge that he is good. His faithfulness endures to all generations, that we are his and that we are the sheep of his pastures. And what David encourages us to do is to enter his gates with thanksgiving and to enter his courts with praise. It really encouraging you and me and all of us to worship God. What does it mean to worship God? It means a lot of different things, and we can worship God in a lot of different aspects of our life. But if you took the first few minutes of every day and you went into God's presence with thanksgiving and with praise and with shouts of joy and worshiped him with gladness, maybe it's blaring a song and singing at the top of your lungs, or maybe it's thanking him for who he is and for his goodness and for his faithfulness that extends to generations in the past, to your generation, and to generations to come. And just spend your life really acknowledging that he is God and that he is good. So for a few minutes today, I would encourage you to worship him with everything that you have. Shout for joy. What if you shouted for joy today, just in worship to God? What if you worshiped him in gladness? Just adored him for who he is. Just for the next few moments, just maybe it's cranking up some music that's going to help you connect with God, but worship him, speak out loud, and worship him for who he is, because he is God and he is good.